I'm just going to ask, what the heck happened? You
know we're talking Ohio State?
About. Yeah, what the heck happened, man? Who gets the most blame for this loss?
I think coaching matters. I think we definitely got out-coached a little bit in the first half. I don't have any intimate knowledge of what's going on in the field or on the sidelines, but it hurts having a right guard that's never really played. They're really, really good up front. Mm-hmm. That's probably as good as Indiana, if not better, than Indiana. The front four. We don't have a kicker. That's a problem. I think that there's a little something that we're missing, and I hate to denigrate Ryan Day. I'm really not trying to denigrate him. The guy's a phenomenal coach. He's really wins every game he coaches, but it just feels like in these big moments there's some sort of killer instinct that we're lacking. Yeah. Maybe it's the coach, maybe it's the players. I don't know, but I see it from other teams. I see Cignetti has it. Yeah. I mean, that guy could be up 40 points and he's gonna look like he's down 40. And I don't know. What did you see?
Well, I think the quarterback played like a freshman.
He did. It was the first time. But, it's a playoff game for him, first one.
I thought Ohio State would win big, but my one concern was Miami was good enough on both lines to give them fits. Mm-hmm. Miami won the line of scrimmage for most of the night. Ohio State, obviously, even outside the pick six, had some opportunities they didn't capitalize on. And they're trying to come back. The kicker doesn't help. And I do think there was just an overall tightness. I don't think it was the same team in the back half of the year. So was it complacency? Was it just the shuffling on the offensive line? Was there something else going on? I don't know, but it clearly wasn't the same team, from a certain point on.
No, and listen, their quarterback, I think he's not the best in the world, but he's a veteran. He's played a lot of football, and our quarterback had not played in big games like this. And Carson Beck has played in some monster games.
Yeah.
So
he's been around he's been a bad quarterback for a long time.
He has.
But he's still standing.
And they might be a national champion quarterback when it's all said and done.
Right.
Have you ever been in a game where you're playing defense? You get in the game, you're like, uh-oh, wasn't expecting that, or they're more physical than we were expecting, or more. How do you make that adjustment mid-game when you get in the game and all of a sudden things are happening that you guys didn't plan on or expect to happen?
I mean, you have to try not panic because you might get into a situation where you're like, okay, they've got guys.
Yeah. It felt like that's what
I played a bunch of those games. Like, do you think that Purdue should have been in a game with us? No, too. Man. Do you think that Illinois with John Butcher at quarterback should have been in a game with us? Hell no.
Yeah.
And you got to find ways to gut through it and figure it out. And at the end of the day, you have to be like, okay, we got to know that we're going to get their best shot.
Yeah.
Because there's a big target on our back because we're Buckeyes.
Yep.
And those dudes know, and they've heard it for 20 freaking years, how Ohio State killed the U and all these things. And they came into the game hungry, and the target was on Ohio State's back. Ohio State should have known that.
Yeah.
And when they got into the dogfight, they should have been like, okay, we should have expected this.
Yeah. I told Dustin at the start of the show, obviously he played in the game, and I covered it, that 0-2 game. Miami was the Ferrari, and Ohio State was the pickup. It just hit them. And the game the other night felt like the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Miami was the more physical team, and Ohio State was the sports car.
Yeah, Miami's got guys, right? And I think that for 2 straight years they had guys. I remember being at their pro day last year and seeing all these guys walk around in Pop-Tarts bowl gear, and I thought, well, this was disappointing. So I think they're angry. Yeah. I think they're physical on the lines. And I think when they survived at A&M, it kind of inspired them. And you're right, they came out and they said, our way to beat Ohio State is to win on the line of scrimmage with this defensive line, and that's a hell of a defensive line.
It's crazy. I mean, the committee got it right by putting them in ahead of Notre Dame, but this is the last team in, and they're in the semifinals.
Yeah.
And they've earned it.
And
They had to go win a game on the road at College Station. Mm-hmm. It had beat Ohio State. To every team everyone picked. They were still the favorites to win the Natty going into Wednesday's game. So I don't know. They're a dangerous team. Nick Saban said it before the Ohio State-Michigan game on game day. I posted that clip where he said Miami gets in the tournament, they're going to be one of the most dangerous teams. You don't want to face those dudes. He was right.
He nailed that. He got that right.
Yesterday was disappointing. I know it was a wild ending, but yesterday was disappointing. I mean, Texas offense was so bad.
They're so bad.
Alabama really didn't belong. I mean, they were down 17-0 in the quarterfinal. They found a way to win. I'm not surprised by that result. I am surprised by the late night result to a little bit, but Ole Miss should have beat them in the regular season too.
They should have. They had a 9-point lead and blew that game, and the same thing happened to Georgia. The exact opposite. I don't know, guys. I mean, listen. I've enjoyed the playoffs. Certainly, I think that there have been some mismatches, some one-sided games, but that's going to happen in any time you have a tournament where it's not just the BCS number 1 versus BCS number 2.
Right.
Hey, the hottest team wins more than the best team wins. Yeah. And Ohio State, I think, spent back half of the season thinking they were the best team, and they certainly weren't the hottest team for whatever reason or reasons.
Yeah, and listen, you can make all the excuses you want about, hey, the layoff was a factor. They didn't play in 23 days or whatever it was, and maybe it was the case, but, Indiana didn't play either.
Make one quarterback point based on this playoff. Like, whether you're a Shedeur maniac or a Mendoza person or you don't think any of these guys are good, there's not enough quarterbacks right now, right? So that all matters. If Trinidad Chambliss comes out in this draft, even though he's small, he'll be a later pick, like that matters. Whether Dante Moore is in this draft or next, like that matters. Like Shedeur eventually being a player for somebody, whether it's here or not, like there's not enough. They need him. And teams have to invest in them. Teams have to develop them. Teams have to clearly evaluate them. So the easy storyline is Mendoza truly a number one pick. Will Dante Moore come out or not this year or next year? He doesn't seem ready to me. He's super gifted.
Also, the guy who wears number 16 in Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
looked pretty good against Michigan.
He sure did. He got a lot better as the season went on.
Yeah.
No one really talked about that because it was all about what he did against Ohio State early in the year. They lose to Florida. Like, that was Arch Manning. Arch Manning now all of a sudden looks like a player. By the way, he ran like 21 miles an hour on that touchdown.
Like,
Like
he's
some
got some
team
wheels.
thinking that Drew Aller's still worth developing. That
Is he gonna
matters.
transfer?
He's in the draft. He does not have.
Oh, he came out.
He used up. Yeah, he's out. He's
That
out of
sucks for him.
eligibility. Right. It seems like guys stay forever, but he's out of eligibility.
He needs to go to a good team that doesn't need to play him right now.
Right.
Go and sit.
Dane Brugler insists he's a top 100 pick.
He probably should be a top 100 pick. I would put him on a team like the Chiefs as your 3 or 2 and then let him work his way and see what happens.
He's still rehabbing. I'm interested to see if he's going to be in Mobile just hanging out. He won't be able to play.
Hey, is Rocco Beck transferred to Penn State?
Every sign points that the Penn State quarterback entered the portal.
I saw that today.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin, real quick on Ohio State. I know there were points during the season when we asked, and I think we did it on the show, is this 2025 team better than the championship team that won it all last year? Obviously, different paths to get to where they're at.
Yeah, that team had Will Howard. If this team has Will Howard, they don't lose to Miami.
Do you think, in retrospect now that we know how the season ended, this Ohio State team was a little overrated at certain parts of the year?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, how can you argue otherwise?
Yeah.
They absolutely were overrated. And I think that sometimes we get so caught up in talent and how fast they are and how much skill they have that we forget about, well, they had a freshman quarterback. Well, they have all the sexy pieces at running back and receiver and DB, but maybe they didn't have a good offensive line. We didn't have a kicker. It cost us 2 games. Cost us the Big Ten championship.
Right.
Cost us this game.
And couldn't trust the run game in big
Because I'm
moments
convinced if
either.
they get that field goal at the end of the first half, it's a different deal in the second half.
I totally agree.
That was just it was the best drive of the day. You got no points. It sucked. And, whatever. I've got more opinions about how they should have been more aggressive on that drive, knowing that the kicker stinks. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
The run game was not great
No,
either.
but they never
And that
really gave
showed
it a
up in big
chance.
moments.
And I don't know.
The,
It's disappointing, I'll tell you that much. It's great that we won the Natty last year. I thought Anthony Lyman, the biggest troll on the planet, had a funny tweet where he said, last year you lost to Michigan but won the Natty. This year you beat Michigan and lost in the quarterfinals. Last year was way better.
Oh, 100%.
Well,
way better.
They lose to Michigan last year. It's unexplainable, right? Michigan stinks.
Yep.
They're 20 point. Ohio State has all this talent. 10 minutes into the Tennessee game, it was clear that Ohio State was going to win the national championship,
Yes.
right? They were just playing at a different hunger and a different speed. You didn't see that this year.
No.
Didn't see it. Indiana exposed it for whatever reason. Intentional, something happened. Guys got fat and happy. I don't know, but that was not the same kind of team.
And look, it sucks. You lose your OC to another program. He's like half there, half here. You got to change the play call, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, like Ryan Day's play calls weren't any better than Brian Hartline's.
No.
I'd have probably just stuck with that.
Do you think that the schedule has changed now that the top seed has lost, 7 of 8?
Correct, 7 of 8.
7 of 8. Do you think they changed the schedule? I think they do.
Well, they're going to have to figure out something with the Bulls because there's just contracts and money and TV stuff. So they would have to do it, figure out how to do it. I mean, should it be
Going
played?
to 16.
Should it be played on campus sites for the first 2 rounds? Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as just saying.
Quarters should be on campus, but the problem is, what do you do with the Rose Bowl? What do you do with?
Well, you should move everything up anyway. The portal should not be opening yesterday
Nick
or
Saban
today.
did a great job on game day yesterday, laying out the
Yeah, he
schedule
did.
timeline. Just listen to that guy.
Yeah.
Right. He knows a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
Fix the whole damn thing.
I don't think you need to have as much time off as the way that it's staggered now. It's really I don't think it's the bye as much as it is. It's 23 or 27 days.
Dude, you should have the Big Ten title game and all the title games that final weekend, and then you need to start the playoffs the next weekend. I mean, figure out the Army Navy
You
situation.
can't lose the conference title games. That's the problem. They're irrelevant now, but they're such a huge part of the TV
Moneymakers.
inventory. Speaking of Nick Saban, And who's going to be Ohio State's offensive coordinator? Is it going to be Tommy Rees?
You think so?
I'm wondering. I'm not hearing it. No, I'm wondering. I mean, I don't know who their coordinator is going to be.
I mean, Tommy Rees would be a great hire.
I mean, I'm not reporting this. I am not reporting this. I'm not reporting this.
This is just opinion.
Having a conversation. Is there any chance he's the Browns' next head coach?
Oh, I thought about that about 3 weeks ago. Didn't say it, but I thought about it.
Just because knowing how they think and knowing, well, we had Kyle Shanahan in the building, we let him walk. And if we have another young offensive mind, even if he's not ready, just keep him and let him grow into the role. I'm not reporting it. No background
do you
information.
keep Schwartz on the roster?
At all. Well, that's 1 week. Because, and I said last week, I like
or do you give the head job to Schwartz and keep Tommy as your OC and give him a big payday?
You're going to lose Tommy eventually to be a head coach. The only way you keep Tommy.
But that would mean you did good things.
He'd have to earn that job, though.
Is there any chance he leaves for a head coaching job?
Of college?
Yeah. This offseason?
There's a lot of gigs open.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, still in college? I don't think there's anything open.
Well, I guess I'm just kind of ahead of myself here a little bit. There was a lot of gigs open.
Yeah.
Are they all filled? Because there were.
I mean,
I got to do a little chat GPT.
So Penn State made its hires, coordinator hires. Michigan made its coordinator hires, right? Ohio State offensive coordinators, I don't think anything's open.
A head coach?
At a head coach.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
Oregon State, is that open?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
UAB, did they hire guys?
They hired Alex Mortensen.
Hired Mortensen.
Chris Mortensen's son.
Yeah.
The interim
Michigan
coach.
hired Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio hired its guy in-house.
They kept the DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's
Toledo hired
taken.
Well, then I guess he doesn't have any.
Yeah, I mean, there's some high-profile coordinator jobs still open.
which pay a lot of money.
Which pay a lot of money. And he has had before and was good enough to get an NFL opportunity. Right. Now, the timing, he was launched to the Browns because the timing of Saban's retirement. And he kind of made that decision.
That's a big get for them at the time.
But yeah,
to get him.
Nick Saban is, the reason he was a finalist at North Carolina is Nick Saban is pushing him. And the word is through the NFL circles that when a job comes open and someone calls Saban, he says, you should hire Tommy Rees. This is a great young football coach.
He got another interview besides North Carolina, didn't he?
He was at UCLA where he has his dad worked at UCLA for a long time.
Yeah.
I think he finished second or third there. They hired Bob Chesney from James Madison. But I'm just wondering, I think that's the highest profile job open in college right now is Ohio State offensive coordinator.
Probably so.
And Ryan Day has deep NFL ties. Now, not Tommy's more right now a college coach than an NFL coach, but he's been entrenched for 2 years.
Ryan Day would call Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Kevin's taken that
Matt
kind
Patricia
of job.
did a hell of a job this year.
I think there's some NFL coordinator jobs that will call Kevin, and he'll probably say no thanks.
He may take a year off.
Yeah, if I'm Kevin, I get fired on Sunday or Monday, I'm taking the money, I'm staying right here, and I'm taking a year off. I'm doing a little TV, and I'm positioning myself for the next gig.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Let the kids stay in the schools that they're in. Mm-hmm. Give another year of stability.
Just chill out. Just hang out in wherever town he's at.
Go down to Public Hall, watch some basketball.
There you go.
I listen, if Coach Stefanski, I know you're watching.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If you want free tickets to the Charge, let me know. I can
You got a guy?
I got a guy. We got some super chats, though, to wrap